What's good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hey, what's up, love? I'm Kay, and if you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by. All right, so today I have got a makeup video. I know. So basically I have got my foundation routine. It's basically an updated dewy winter foundation routine. It's super full coverage, but this is the end result. I did my eyeshadow on my IGTV, so if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, it's like a blown out smoky cat eye situation with some gold in it. Do follow me on Instagram. I'm at KRepublic on there. And yeah, basically my skin is what I'm going to be focusing on. I love doing foundation routines in winter. I don't know, I just think they're just more beneficial in winter. I don't know why, but I brought you guys a foundation routine. I did one last year. What I did last year versus this year has changed dramatically, and everything I'm using is drugstore, and if it's not drugstore, it is affordable and South African. So stuff like the lashes are from Lash Me Baby, and the highlights I've got Chick Cosmetics, so that's South African, and everything will be linked down below. So if you're interested, do keep on watching, and also don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content. And don't forget to also switch on your bell notifications. Those will just basically notify you when I've got a new upload, and subscribing is completely free, girls, so please subscribe. All right, without any further ado, let's hop straight into the video. Let's get started, you guys. So the very first thing I'm going to do for this dewy makeup look is I'm going to moisturize. So I'm going to use my Neutrogena. The reason I do moisturize right after the shower, I use my serum and my moisturizer right after the shower, or right after I wash my face, whatever I'm deciding to do in or out the shower. But then I have recently started really liking to moisturize right before I put on my makeup. Something about it really does just really help the foundation and really help whatever type of makeup I'm going to put on, even like the concealer glide on. And I just feel like it just gives a more plump look when I moisturize right before I put on my foundation. So I'm going to do that. I've got this one, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. I am running low, girl. I'm running low. My serum is completely done now. I finished it today, and yeah, I just need to go and restock, honestly. But I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I'm just gonna moisturize my face. And then I'm going to go in and start to color correct. I don't do this all the time, but I do this when I want a very full coverage base, which is what I'm going for today. Even though it's glowy, I do want it to be very full coverage. And the one I'm going to be using today is the Peach Corrector, and this one is not very orange. I'm going to use this on any dark circles or any dark spots that I experience. I don't need a very dark one. If you were richer in melanin than me, then you would go for the orange color corrector, but the peach one is perfect for my skin. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. This one is the Pro Conceal Peach Corrector from LA Girl, and I'm going to take a tiny bit of that under my eyes, right around my mouth. And I do have spots on my cheek because I did have a pimple last week, so I do want to just cover that up real quickly. And I don't really care about the darkness on the side of my face, because I normally just, you know, contour. But anywhere else where I really do want the light to hit, like right over here, I feel like I've got like this mustache shadow. I don't really have hair there, but I've got a mustache shadow. It's weird. So this is how it is. And then all you really do is you just press it in. You don't have to do too much. Don't press it into it disappears. You do want it to still be there underneath your foundation, because you do want it to brighten that area. So I know that when people think of like dark circles and like color correcting them, they think of the orange color corrector, but like I said, the orange corrector is for deeper melanin shades. And if you're like my skin tone or even lighter, this corrector. So this is like how you kind of want it to look. You don't want it to disappear, because then you'll feel like you've done nothing. But yeah, basically this is the base before your foundation. And talking about foundation, I'm going to be using a combo that I've been loving recently. I talked about this on a vlog. It's the Rimmel London, the 25-hour, the lasting finish, and I've got it in the shade Warm Caramel. And then I've got the Revlon Color Stay in the shade Caramel as well. It's number 13. The reason why I'm going to be mixing these two together is because I like the coverage of the Rimmel, but I like the shade of the Color Stay. So I'm going to use these together because I just think it comes up with like a really nice concoction. And yeah, so I'm going to take a couple squeezes of this, and then a couple squeezes of that, one extra just for the shade, and then mix these two together on the back of my hand and then start to apply. I do my brows with my foundation already on my face. I don't set my foundation when I do my brows, but what I do is when my foundation is still wet and like, you know, not set, that's when I do my brows, because I feel like the concealer merges with the foundation better and it blends better. So I don't know how people blend concealer when they've already got powder on their face, like when they've set their foundation. So that's not what I do. I'm going to use the flat part of my sponge to kind of like absorb any excess, just to make sure that I'm not cakey later. But yeah, this is the type of makeup that I really enjoy. I really like a full coverage beat look. And as you can see, I don't have any of those dark shadows because I did cancel them out with the color corrector. So that's exactly what you want to do. So I'm gonna hop off camera to do my brows and then I'll be back. I'm going to move on to concealer, and to highlight I'm going to be using the Revlon Color Stay. This is my goat. This is the best concealer I've actually ever tried. It's genuinely really good. I think the main reason why I like it so much is because it creases so much less as compared to other concealers. So I'm going to use this. I have the shade Nutmeg. Nutmeg is what I highlight with. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I like the applicator as well. It's just this nice doe foot applicator, and I'm going to really go in with the highlight. I do really like the highlighted look. I'm starting with my under eyes, and I'm not going to highlight everything and then blend. I'm going to start with just this, blend this out, and then go ahead and start with the rest of the other places on my face. And the main reason why I do that is because this does tend to dry down a bit quicker for me, in my opinion. And I noticed that because when I do the whole face and then blend after, I notice that the lines right here close to my nose don't really blend out the way that I want. Look up and blend. Right before I set, I will go in with a little bit more concealer and blend it out, but I do want to just get the base work done for now. I do want to try out the Maybelline Age Rewind, but I'm really happy with this one. I think the Maybelline Age Rewind I'll try out for the contour, because I'm not very happy with my contour shade. I will talk about that in a minute, but yeah. And then I'm going to take just excess concealer and cover my eye. Taking that same concealer, I'm going to run this concealer on my chin, just a little dot. I really go in on the top of my lip. Like I told you, I don't like the shadows that like are there. And then a little bit on my forehead, because I do have a big forehead. I don't want to make it bigger. And then I'm going to take just a little bit between my nose. Blend, blend, blend. And I really like just the way that looks. I just really like this concealer. I am gonna prep the powder because I don't want to be in a situation where everything is blended out and I'm looking for a powder. So before I go ahead and blend the rest of the under eye situation that I said I was going to do, I'm gonna take my Skin Perfecta. So in here, it's the My Skin Perfecta by Essence in the shade Nude, but also I did mix in a little bit of the Revolution Banana Powder. I'm looking into getting the Banana Deep by Revolution, because I just think what I created here is the Banana Deep, and I do want to try that out because it does have a yellow undertone, which I think I would enjoy so much because I don't know, like I think it would bring out the undertone of my skin. So I'm gonna take this. It is just like that, like messy of course, but I'm going to go in again in the under eye, take a tiny bit of that concealer. I'm gonna blend. I'm gonna look down while I do this just so I can actually see, and then take my mirror and put it up like right here. I'm gonna hold it up. I'm gonna look up, and then I'm going to, so this is a trick that I discovered that will help you not look down so that you crease. So I look up at my mirror and I look for the powder in the reflection. So I'm dipping into the powder and I'm pressing it down. I'm doing everything I need to do, but I'm not looking down. I'm looking into the mirror and I'm fetching the powder with the reflection, if that makes sense. So I'm not creasing anything. So I just look up, find the powder. It's a bit tricky because like it's a reflection, but it works. It literally works so well. Got the powder right here, and then I push this powder into my eye. So I don't really bake like that. I just like press the product into my eye, and I just think that gives it such a nice skin finish. So I'm gonna do that again. Press. It's a bit of an arm workout, but it's so worth it. Look at that. So yeah, then everything else I can just look in the mirror normally. Take a little bit of that and just press it into the skin. I think this is so much better than baking because first of all, with baking, it does tend to dry out my skin in particular. I've got dry skin, so baking really doesn't work for me. I mean, it would be great if it worked for me, but it really doesn't. Normally people do bake their nose, but I'm not really into that. So I'm just gonna turn it around. When you feel like you put a little too much powder like I have, just turn your beauty sponge around, and the side that doesn't really have any powder you just use to pick up excess powder that you feel like you put too much on. So yeah, what I've kind of figured out is that when you have your sponge, you're not limited. Like, use the whole sponge. So like I'm about to do and show you on this side, I'm just going to turn it on its bottom basically because this is the top. Turn it on its bottom and like use that to blend out the creases on my eye, and then turn it around and use the powder to set my eye. You know, too much powder, turn it around, pick up that powder with the rest of the sponge. Super simple. Okay, so I did not cream contour, and that is for a reason. I would love to cream contour. I think it's such a cute step now. If you're an OG on my channel, you know that I'm not really a cream contour, or I wasn't a cream contour fan, but I don't feel like I've got the right shade for cream contour. I've got a contour color here. It's the same concealer, the Revlon Color Stay, but it's in the shade Hazelnut, and I do feel like this is more of a bronze color and not a contour color. It's just the wrong undertone. It's not rich enough for me. It just doesn't do what I needed to do. So I'm going to be heavier on the powder contour because I don't have anything underneath it. So now that I've got my base, as you see, I'm very flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to set everywhere else, and I'm going to use an OG for this. This is the Yardley loose powder. I love this powder. It's in the shade Caramelized. So I love this powder because it matches my skin, and also I just think it's really finely milled. So I just think it looks so nice on the skin. Take a little bit because this brush does kind of like retain powder. Like, look, like it just like keeps the powder, so I have to like dust it off. So I'm taking a little bit of that. Still some more fucking powder. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that, and I'm going to press this into my skin and then buff it out. And buff that out. I think this is turning out really nice. I really like the base. That's like the most important part for me personally. I don't really care about the eyeshadow and all of that. If the base is not nice, I kind of get a bad attitude and I don't like my makeup. So I do want to make sure that everything is very nicely done, you know. And then I'm going to move on to the contour. So I'm going to use an OG. I'm going to use 370 by Maybelline. It's a Fit Me powder. I do think it's still available. This shade, it is a dark brown. For it, I use a very small angled brush. I like the small angled brush. I feel like the product goes exactly where I put it. And yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of that, turn my head, and I'm going to basically start contouring and pushing up. I push up because I don't want the contour to go down here. I do want higher looking cheekbones, so that's why I push the product up, and I don't like do this. I want it to look airbrushed and like a natural shadow and not like a harsh line. Basically cut into these cheeks, because girl, I'll lose weight but like my cheeks will still be chubby, and it's like, and there you go. I hope you guys can see the difference. I know I can. So then I'm going to bronze. I love bronzer. I use 340 Cappuccino by the same Maybelline Fit Me line, and this is the difference between my bronzer and my contour. So this is my contour, this is my bronzer, and this just warms up my face. I feel like it's a bit too harsh right now, so I've got the very dark contour and I've got like my face, and I just need something warm to bring it, you know, together and like melt it in together. I know a lot of people don't use bronzer. I personally am such a fan. Like, I don't think I could do my makeup without putting on bronzer. Even when I'm doing like a 5-minute makeup tutorial or a makeup look and I'm just like going out but I need like a little bit of makeup, I will always use bronzer. I will always use bronzer. It's a little bit darker than my face powder, but not very dark. It's not a contour. It brings warmth basically. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I'm going to take an angled brush, but a very fluffy big one. It's angled, it's really big, it's fluffy, it's not too dense. It's just going to airbrush the product onto my face. So I'm going to take a little bit of that and put it a little bit higher than my contour. I didn't contour my forehead. I don't really like the look of that, honestly. So I'm just going to bronze it instead to make my forehead look smaller. Bronze, bronze, bronze. And then I'm gonna pinch this, the same brush, and I use bronzer for my nose instead of like contour, because I just think it's like a more natural look. And then I'm gonna take a clean fluffy brush like this, dip it into that same bronzer, and then contour right here. And this takes your nose contour to just another level. It just, I don't know, something about contouring up here, like joining your nose to your eyebrows basically, it just does something. It's so effective. And if you do it with bronzer instead of contour, I just think it looks way more natural. So it just snatches your face so much more. And then normally what I would do after that step is basically just cut the bottom of my contour just to neaten it up a bit. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take an angled brush like this. I should actually use my sponge, but I'm not in the mood to do that. I'm going to hop back into the powder that I used to highlight my under eyes, and I'm going to dip that brush in there, tap off the excess, and then draw a line right down here. I'm just gonna let it sit there for a minute while I do my blush. I like blush. I'm a fan of blush. I think no look is complete without blush. And what I use for blush is actually a really big fluffy brush. I don't know why. I do have a blush brush right here, but I just like this because I feel like it merges with my bronzer so much better. And basically where I put my blush is exactly where I put my bronzer. Like, there's no space above where I put my bronzer. So I'm just going to take that blush. This is an old ass blush. It's by BYS. BYS is sold on Takealot, and I really like this one. But there is a similar shade that Revlon sells. I just forgot what it's called. So then I'm going to take my powder brush, the one that I use to set the rest of my face, and I'm going to dust off this product. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit more of the caramelized, because it is leaving a white tinge on my face, which I don't like. I just wanted this powder that I put on there to cut and clean up the contour. I didn't want it to leave a white line. And if you do have melanin in your skin, I do recommend that you do what I'm about to do. So when you're done cutting it up, what you do is you take a face powder that matches your skin and you just dust on top of it. Not too much to where you kind of like lost the purpose of what you were doing, but enough to like get rid of that white tone, you know. So now that is done, I'm going to do my eyeshadow off camera. And if you want to see the eyeshadow look that I'm going to end up doing, go onto my IGTV. I'm going to record it for that. But basically I want to do my eyeshadow first and then set my face, because I don't want to set my face and put eyeshadow on top. It's going to skip. It's basically going to look very patchy. So I'm going to do my eyeshadow and then I'll be back. Alrighty, so I'm back. I did my eyeshadow for IGTV. I did this very cat eye inspired look, but it's like very blown out basically. So yeah, the lashes that I've got on are Dream by Lash Me Baby. So yeah, I'm going to set my face. I've got 2 more steps left. I've already done my lips and everything. I've got setting spray and highlight left. So what I do when I'm trying to get the glowy look is I set my face first. I'm going to be using the setting spray called Fresh Fix Setting Mist Hydrate Refresh Set by Cheek Cosmetics. If you know Cheek Cosmetics, they're really cool, South African, black owned, a very nice brand. So I'm going to take this, shake it up a little bit, and then I'm going to set my face. I'm going to try and cover my eyes, but that never really works for me. So I'm going to take some of this. And then a trick that I use that really helps my makeup last longer and like glow really nicely and look like skin basically is I take my beauty blender and I just press the setting spray into my skin. This really like takes the makeup from like a powdery matte looking vibe to the dewy vibe that I like. And then while that is not super dry yet, I'm gonna go in with my Cheek Cosmetics highlight quad. So this is like an OG. I really love this. Look at it. Like, it is so beat up, and that's because I love it. I love it. And I'm going to take a brush, like a highlight brush, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here and a little bit down here. So I never really use these two. I mainly just use the bronze and the gold. Flick that off a little bit and then just place the highlight for now. I'll show you what I'll do with it later. So I'm just gonna place it and like rub it in a little bit. And then I wanna take the same brush, squeeze it, and then just like highlight my nose, just like that, just like that. And then I'm gonna take that sponge, take my setting spray, spray like 2 times or something, and then press that highlight in. That's pretty much it. Alright you guys, so I really hope you enjoyed that video. I basically showed you how I got a full coverage dewy luminous beat for winter. I do enjoy just like not so matte skin in winter. I just think it's a nice contrast and it just looks better. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comment section down below which of the products that I used have you tried out before and what have you been interested in trying out. Let me know and let's have a chat in the comment section. But for now guys, I'm done. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget, if you are interested in content like this or anything on my channel, then don't forget to subscribe and also switch on your bell notifications. I would really appreciate it. So yeah guys, that's it, and that's all I've got for you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.